purchase of delusion went for the Amazon boss, Jeff Bezos. And of course, it's for professional
and in the country, and, wants him to help her become a billionaire herself, which you...
It began as a soft whisper, a small rumor drifting out of Amazon studios, but within hours it swelled into a storm shaking all of Hollywood. Jeff Bezos had decided he was finished with the Sussexes. No reconsidering, no new deals, simply finished. And when this news reached Meghan Markle in Montecito, insiders say she broke down in tears, understanding that one of the final major supports of her Hollywood comeback had collapsed in a single harsh moment.
Parties, you do not sign it. You're a VIP. If you've got to make people sign documents, you don't get into Jeff Bezos's house. This was a
turning point, and make no mistake, this was not some minor media issue. This was the kind of decision that shakes an entire industry, pushes executives into panic, and exposes how unstable the Sussex brand has been for years. So let's rewind, because this collapse did not happen in a single moment. It was the outcome of weeks and possibly months of pressure building behind the scenes at breakneck speed. Rumors drifted across studio backlots, executives were irritated, producers were left confused, projects froze, and meetings were pushed back with no new dates. Insiders at Amazon whispered that the Sussex ideas lacked clear focus, that production planning became nearly impossible, and that every conversation felt like Meghan and Harry were trying to recreate the dramatic energy of their Oprah interview again and again and again.
Sun was shining for us. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, very lucky.
But here is the real breaking point. Jeff Bezos, the man who built Amazon from nothing into a global giant, has zero tolerance for disorder, and that is exactly how insiders described the Sussex partnership, especially after the Kardashian situation. Imagine going to a person's 70th birthday celebration and somehow turning the spotlight onto yourself. One source said it plainly: Amazon does not babysit celebrities, you deliver or you are replaced. Those 6 words became Meghan Markle's worst fear, and insiders say she sensed something was wrong even before the news went public. Meetings suddenly became shorter, calls slowed down, replies grew colder, and emails from Amazon shifted from "we love this pitch" to "let's revisit this next quarter," which in Hollywood language means the contract is fading away. This is where everything became even more intense. Jeff Bezos did not pull the plug quietly. The move was timed with precision, just as Amazon approved several new high-budget projects, with established creators sending a message across the entire industry that they were stepping back from untested, celebrity-driven content. And that is when the real wave of panic hit Montecito, because Meghan had relied heavily on the Amazon partnership as her big comeback, the grand shining project that would prove she belonged in the upper ranks of Hollywood. Power, a moment that would silence critics, haters, and online noise in one clean sweep. Instead, those ambitions were crushed under a corporate boot the size of a small nation. Sources close to the Sussexes say Meghan was shattered, not just bothered, but completely heartbroken. One insider shared that the atmosphere inside the Montecito home shifted instantly. Meghan reportedly locked herself in her room for hours, overwhelmed, frustrated, and afraid of what this meant for her next step, while Harry paced around, confused, irritated, and quietly furious that yet another major corporate door had closed on them. Because if Netflix was already cooling off, if Spotify had already moved on, and if Hollywood was tired of the never-ending royal drama narrative, then Amazon was supposed to be the lifeline. The proof that big tech and big media still had faith in the Sussex brand. But the decision from Bezos spoke louder than any official statement ever could.
Now we know Jeff Bezos is Amazon. He's connected to Amazon. And who has recently done a little, who's apparently done a little cameo.
The Sussexes were no longer the must-have names. They had become a risky investment, a brand losing its shine, and Hollywood never chases fading brands. Hollywood replaces them. But this is where things turn truly wild. The moment the Bezos decision leaked, literally within minutes, the Hollywood gossip machine exploded like a volcano. Phone screens flashed, studio assistants froze mid-task, PR teams stopped in place, agents whispered, "Oh my God, it's happening, they are collapsing." Twitter, or X, on TikTok, on Instagram, theories erupted everywhere. Meghan cancelled by Amazon. Did Jeff Bezos walkaways the Sussex brand finish? Edwet really happened in those meetings. Comment sections became battlegrounds. Some defended Meghan fiercely, others mocked her brutally, and another group, the Hollywood Watchers, said this was the moment they had seen coming for a long time. But the biggest shock came from an anonymous Amazon producer who claimed the final pitch meeting with the Sussexes went completely off track. According to the leak, Meghan walked in confident, upbeat, even victorious, presenting what she believed was a groundbreaking concept that would redefine celebrity documentary series forever, but executives reportedly found it unclear, scattered, and more like polished personal branding than actual storytelling. One insider said it felt like they wanted another Oprah-style breakthrough, but Amazon does not create emotional therapy sessions. We create content. Then came the moment that sealed everything. An executive reportedly asked Meghan what makes this project different from the dozens already pitched this month, and Meghan, in her usual style, spoke about global influence, cultural impact, and inspirational visibility. But no one in the room cared about inspirational visibility. They cared about numbers, timelines, deliverables, ROI, and deadlines, and with that, the meeting ended early. The next week Bezos made his move. This was not personal. This was business, cold, calculated, strategic business. But for Meghan, it hit on a deeply personal level, because this was not just another corporate partnership slipping away. This was the third major platform creating distance from her and Harry, each one striking their brand harder than the last. Spotify, gone, Netflix interest fading, and now Amazon stepping back. Hollywood executives started whispering a phrase Meghan never wanted to hear: brand fatigue, a polished industry way of saying people have heard the story and they do not want it any. Maria's the news spread, so did Meghan. Emotional reaction sources described her as heartbroken, confused, and afraid of losing relevance. Even Harry reportedly admitted privately that they had to rebuild everything from the ground up. And while the public saw silence from the Montecito mansion, behind the scenes insiders say Meghan was spiraling, pacing, venting, crying, breaking down every detail, terrified that this might be the moment her Hollywood ambitions began to fall apart. Becca's when Jeff Bezos, one of the most powerful figures in modern entertainment and tech, decides you are no longer worth the investment, Hollywood listens and Hollywood follows. And if you thought the Bezos situation seemed chaotic before, get ready, because this is where our expose truly starts to ignite. According to our satirical insiders, Meghan's reaction to the alleged Bezos decision was instant, explosive, and dramatic, enough to shake the walls of the mansion. She is moving through the Montecito home, her voice echoing across marble floors, trying to understand how one of the richest men in the world could decide that the Sussex media vision was not worth another billionaire-level investment.
He's nervous on occasions like that. Then he said,
And then the phones start ringing. Hollywood publicists, streaming reps, and friends who only show up when cameras are rolling. Everyone wants to know the same thing: is it true? Did Bezos really end the deal? And Meghan, our dramatic character in this satirical storyline, shifts into full crisis command mode. She calls Harry over and over, rapid fire, no breaks, no pauses, just pure panic energy. Harry, inside our dramatized narrative, has his own meltdown. He is reportedly trying to figure out whether this is the end of their Hollywood chapter or simply the end of one billionaire's involvement. Then comes the twist, because while Meghan is trying to take control, Jeff Bezos in this parody version goes completely silent. No public comments, no clarifications, no attempts to calm the storm, just silence, and that silence becomes louder than any headline. Media senses trouble. Paparazzi swarm Montecito like someone handed them coordinates. Social platforms spiral into chaos, fans whisper theories, haters celebrate like they won a World Cup, and Netflix executives reportedly schedule emergency meetings, the kind where everyone shows up in black turtlenecks speaking in whisper mode. But things grow even wilder as the world waits for a statement. Meghan decides to take action. She begins drafting what insiders call a critical message, something meant to reclaim control and set the record straight. But before she finishes even the first paragraph, Bezos makes another move in this dramatized narrative. He releases a single cold corporate line through his spokesperson: "Oh, are reviewing our partnerships and adjusting future commitments." Accordingly, no names, no details, just enough to send the entire internet into melting bees. In Hollywood language, that line means one thing: something has shifted permanently. Meghan reportedly breaks into tears. Harry goes quiet, staring into the distance like he is questioning every life choice since 2016. The staff walks softly around the house as if avoiding landmines, and the media launches into full sprint. Live streams, paparazzi, royal reporters, Hollywood blogs, countdown timers, everyone asking the same questiones. This the end of the Sussex Hollywood era. But Meghan refuses to surrender the narrative. She starts mapping out a comeback blueprint: emails, calls, meetings, potential collaborations, influencer alliances, a full-scale counter-strike. There is one problem. Every plan depends on one thing: someone willing to publicly Stand with Herond. Suddenly the phones stop ringing. Friends go silent. Publicists vanish. Even Hollywood opportunists become mysteriously unavailable. Feels like the entire industry smelled chaos and backed away. Slowly and quietly, not wanting to be pulled into the phalanstery. Overwhelmed, reportedly tries to reassure Meghan, telling her this is only a temporary setback, but deep down, he knows that when billionaires step back, the shockwaves are very real, but the real blow comes at the end of the night. Meghan opens her laptop, checking trending topics, expecting her drafted message to dominate the conversation. Instead, one headline fills every global feed: Bezos cuts royal ties, Sussex future uncertain. And that is the moment Meghan breaks. Not with a tantrum, not with a staged reaction, but with silence, a stillness, a quiet, painful realization that, in this universe, the Hollywood power structure she thought she had mastered may have just moved on without her. And now Meghan Markle, the Duchess, who once commanded non-stop headlines, faces the biggest question of her career: what happens when even billionaires walk away? Picture this: it has been less than 48 hours since the news hit. Bezos pulls the plug, rumors spreading like wildfire across social platforms, TikTok edits everywhere, reaction channels exploding, Reddit threads melting down, and Montecito is silent, not peaceful silence, but strategic silence. The kind that makes everyone online ask the same thing: where is Meghan? Is she saying nothing? Becco's normally one negative headline, one spicy rumor, even a mildly shady post triggers something: a statement, a leak, a friend of the Sussexes speaking out. But now nothing. And in that silence, the drama grows loud. PR teams, streaming reps, podcast producers are all doing what Hollywood does best: wild speculation. Executive whispers: if Bezos really stepped back, others will follow. Nobody wants to be the last one holding the bill. Another says if Amazon hesitates, Netflix will think twice. These are rumors in our dramatic storyline, but they fuel chaos because suddenly the Sussex brand looks like a table sitting on one wobbly leg, and someone has just kicked it. Meghan behind closed doors in this fictional universe is pacing, panicking, and plotting because she understands something massive. If the corporate world thinks Bezos doubts them, everything else will start shaking. And she refuses to let that happen. Harry, meanwhile, watches the entire internet implode in real time, stressed beyond belief because his phone is blowing up for a reason. Royal reporters asking for comment. British tabloids sharpening their knives. Hollywood channels counting down like it's the end of an era. He tries to stay calm, tries to keep the emotional line steady, but Meghan wants action. She wants a counterstrike. She wants the narrative back in her hand. Cherry fears that pushing back too fast or too loudly will make everything worse. So now the meltdown is not only Hollywood wide, it is inside Montecito as well. Here is where things grow even more dramatic, because across the Atlantic Palace staff is tracking every update, preparing themselves, because if there is one thing they learned from years of messy media storms, it is this one. Meghan feels cornered. She does not retreat, she advances. So the palace prepares statements, organizes communications, and braces for the incoming von royal aid. In this fictional narrative, mutters, this will not end quietly. It never does. And they are right, because what Meghan approves on a late-night call is big, bold, and guaranteed to send reporters scrambling. But before the plan launches, before new headlines ignite, before Meghan makes her biggest move, yet another shockwave hits. Note from the palace, seen it from Hollywood, but from the one place she never expected. Bezos himself, billionaire, finally responds to the swirling rumors, not with a long explanation, not with a polished statement, but with a short, crisp, calculated post that goes viral instantly. And when the world reads it, a shockwave shoots through Montecito. Meghan free Sherry feels the blood drain from his face. But the message from Bezos is nothing like what they expected, not even close. And no one, not the palace, not Hollywood, not even Meghan herself, is ready for the fallout it unleashes.